Hello there and welcome to the Zero Credentials F1 podcast. I forgot what we were for a minute there, mate. But we're here to talk about the upcoming Austrian Grand Prix of 2025. Let's roll the music, or roll the intro, and we'll get straight into it. So, Nelly, it's been a little while, hasn't it, since we...
It's felt like it. I've missed you, mate. You forgot what the podcast was called, which is really useful.
the reason being, I've been filming a video for my other YouTube channel, my other much bigger YouTube channel today.
Well, that is an activity in which you have many credentials, so maybe that's why.
So I've it's sort of been a bit of. This is the second video I've filmed today, so it's a little bit confusing. But I mean, I was good. I've been looking back at the last couple of races of the Austrian Grand Prix in 2024 and 2023. What I was thinking though is that I've been making my predictions for these Grand Prix sometimes based on what happened last year. And I think the last few races has proved that is a terrible way to try and predict the results.
I started to consider it that way this time round, and then realised that actually looking at the stats of how they finished is not exactly how the race went at all. And there was some action which messed it all up towards the end. But yeah, there is some form and some exciting developments. And upgrades and things, so it's the same as before. God knows what's going to happen.
What have you heard about the updates that Ferrari are bringing? Do you know much about that? Because I was trying to find info about it, and it kind of sounds like it could be a fairly big, influential upgrade, but there's not that much info out there that I've been able to find so far. We're on Tuesday at the moment. The video will probably go out Wednesday. And then, I mean, the info starts to flow in by Thursday usually, doesn't it? When they get to the track. I've
heard that there's a step change at Ferrari, but I'm always skeptical when somebody mentions a step change in F1. It's like a tenth of a second or something. But to be fair, if the car just is a bit more stable, I'm sure they'll be able to drive it a bit better. But
one thing sorry, go on.
Go on. No, you go on.
One thing I did read was that it's a relatively conservative update, but designed to bring stability and a level in there, because it's an upgrade to the floor, isn't it? I think designed to bring in a much more predictable motor vehicle. I think
that's similar to what I was going to say, because when they've got an upgrade that's a beauty, they like to sandbag it and say, yeah, it's shit. There's nothing really. We've tightened the wheel nut, and we've put an extra PSI in the tyres, and they really like to sandbag it. And actually in P1 and P2, they also like to sandbag it and have extra fuel on when they're doing the race runs, just so nobody knows for the qualifying stint what they're like. I mean, I hope they move on. I'm not holding my breath though with Ferrari. There's been a lot of false dawns at the moment.
When I was looking around earlier, the main news that I saw was all talking about the F1 movie. Like literally every single bit of F1 news at the moment is related to that, because they've been having the premieres this week in New York and London and elsewhere.
Don't know how I feel about it.
There was a pretty funny video I just watched with Crofty getting interviewed on the red carpet, and he looked absolutely smashed.
He's a human being. He's a real guy.
He was clearly having a good time. The other thing I like about Crofty actually is he's into metal. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Which I am as well. He's a big fan of Kill Switch Engage, which is one of my.
I would fully expect it as well. I mean, Crofty is just a top bloke as well, and it's just nice. I mean, he doesn't always get it right when he's commentating, but to be fair, that sort of speed and that pace and how fast his brain must be whirring.
I know,
but he feels like a fan.
Yeah, big
goes
time.
Back a bit to the Murray days, Murray Walker days, and you just feel that it's another fan telling you what's going on, and he gets a bit overexcited. And Martin has to step in and go, "No, Crofty, you're chatting shite there. They'll be doing this, that, and the other." But it's a nice balance actually.
And they're in the movie as well, aren't they? Doing commentary, which is cool.
Yeah, somebody said they were extremely good, or they got lauded by the producers for their contribution to it.
Oh,
but
nice.
in terms of the film, it's like anything. I'm sure if, and I'm not comparing myself to a Top Gun pilot in any manner of means, but I'm sure pilots watching Top Gun think it's absolute dog shit. Whereas, because they know too much about it and they can see all the flaws in it. But your average Joe Public punter would absolutely love that film just for its excitement and its storytelling and everything else. I'm sure F1 film's going to be pretty similar. Those who know a little bit will just be frustrated by the idiosyncrasies and the gaps in it.
Yeah, it could follow the same kind of narrative that Drive to Survive follows, couldn't it? Where it's obviously designed for every man, not just your F1 fan, and they create a narrative that's not real in F1.
Yeah.
There was, in Drive to Survive last year, there was an episode, I think it was in Singapore, where they were just sort of following the drivers around, and I thought that was a superb episode because it was like it was real and it was raw with none of the nonsense commentary, fake commentary and nonsense from Will Buxton.
Will, yeah.
So I really hope that the F1 movie doesn't go like that. I'm considering going to see it tomorrow lunchtime.
Do it,
and because there's an IMAX in Leeds where I live, so it's I'll go, I think it needs to. I think
it'd be hilarious if there was some characters in there, maybe like team principals and all that sort of thing that are just obvious rip-offs.
Yeah,
like your classic bad guy Christian Horner.
Yeah,
or your stern Austrian Toto or something like that. I'd love it if there was just an obvious rip-off of somebody who's sort of.
I'm assuming they actually feature in it though, don't they? Because the other drivers
will be at some point. Yeah.
So I'm guessing that.
But there must be a fake one for their team lead or something like that.
Yeah, I think there is. Isn't there?
It'd be hilarious if it of like a little Northern Irish fella like Eddie was back in the day, or a bald fella in a wheelchair being Sir Frank Williams. You know what I mean? Just
a proper caricature of it.
Yeah, just not even an attempt at trying to find a new character, just a blatant rip-off of something that's gone before.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. I don't even need it to be great. I just want it to be decent. Yeah, it does, just a decently entertaining movie. I don't need it to be bang on, like accurate.
You just want to not hate it.
Just give me. This is the thing with any movie these days that I watch. I just want a good story. Like, just give me a good story. It doesn't have to be like that good around it.
Yeah, just divert me for an hour and a half. That's all I want.
I think it's 2.5 hours though, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Oh, epic. A race weekend isn't that long.
I know. Yeah, it is longer than a race. Should we talk about the race a little bit then? Because before we do that, let's just have a very brief look at our predictions so far. I don't think they changed, did they, after the last race? Because we all missed out horribly.
It doesn't get any easier to look at, though.
No, I'd like a little bit of competition. I've got to be honest, like someone to step it up. I think this is a weekend. I tell you what? Should we start with? Let's start with Waits' predictions because he's the one that sent them through first. So we'll give him credit for that. And he said that he's heard things about the upgrades that Ferrari have brought, and that it's basically night and day from where they were before. And he's also thinking about Fred is playing it down, and I also think Fred needs a result, doesn't he? So he's taking a punt on Charles Leclerc for pole position.
Wow.
And then he's gone for the top 5, he's gone with Max Verstappen. Literally, he
literally typed that.
Yeah. Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc in 3rd, so he's dropping down a couple of places. Oscar, and then George Russell.
Not a bad shout.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a decent shout. I think I'm surprised he's gone with Charles on pole. I think he just wants to mix it up for some points, really, in that regard.
Yeah.
For me, this has always been a Red Bull track, certainly for the 1 lap pace, and I can't look beyond Max for that. But it really is mixed stuff. There are at least I've said this all season, but the other 3 teams are absolutely within it. I still think the cream will rise to the top in McLaren, but the Mercedes on their day really like this track. Excuse me.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think. I mean, I think I'm done predicting Lando up there. I'm writing him off at this point. Like that, it was kind of a disaster at the last race, wasn't it? And I can't see him having what it takes to come back. I did see in the week that I think it was, or was it something that Nico said, that George Russell is working with a psychologist, and I've been thinking for absolutely ages that Lando needs to be doing that. Yeah. And he's not yet. And George is making big. I think he's making a big push. He's the one with the rivalry with Max Verstappen at the moment. So on that note, I agree with you. I think it's a Red Bull track. Max is always solid around here. It's kind of a home race for him, isn't it? Yeah. So Max on pole, Max for the win for me, followed by George. I think will be second.
Nice. I'd like
not a bad course for Mercedes. They've obviously improved recently. Then I think Oscar. Then I'll go Lando, and then I hope the Ferraris do better than that. But I'm going to put Alex Albon in 5th. I think that.
Nice.
I think the Williams is going to go well round
Alex, here. Yeah, it likes the straight lines. It's got decent anchors and it can stop the thing. No, I would. Yeah. Jimmy struggle.
Jimmy V's just signed a big new contract as well, hasn't he? For multi.
He's not a schmuck. He must be seeing the designs coming through. He must see that they've got a decent development package coming in. Yep. So that's a great sign.
So yeah, I think Williams might have a nice little weekend. I think so. I'm going to give Alex Albon another 5th place.
I like it. Well, in terms of mine, then, as I say, Max, Paul. Actually, I'll take a step back because I've tried various methodologies to try and predict this race. I've made predictions based on my heart. I've made predictions based on my head, and they have equally got me fuck all results. So
what are you basing this one on?
What have I got to lose?
What are you basing this one on then?
Now this is based on the race that I want to see.
I thought you were going to go for another body part or something.
But this is. I think I've cracked it. It's like I've got a system on the roulette.
Right. Go on then.
It's a foolproof system. If it was red last time, go black. That's definitely no. So the race I want to see, Max is on pole because I just can't get away from it being a Red Bull track. It's their home circuit, and they've got to lean the car towards doing that in all of their development. It's like there'll always be a bit of Lewis that tries to lean the car towards Silverstone. But for the actual race, Lando wins it. Max second.
Wow.
With some this is the race I want to see. I'm far from confident that this is the race that will happen. Oscar third, George, then Charles after that, because I want to see Max and Lando have a bit of a ding dong like they did at the tail end of the race last year.
Yeah,
that was very juicy. It was before the 70th lap, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but they had a good couple of rucks down at the large hairpin. Again, exposed some of Lando's weaknesses. If I'm brutally honest, he can scuttle up behind Max, but then runs out of ideas.
Yeah. That was so obvious as well, wasn't it? Watching it back again from last year. I mean, and even on the radio, Max is saying he was like laughing to is it GP?
Yeah, GP,
he was laughing to him, wasn't he? And kind of saying, "Nah, that's not how you overtake." And it's like at the time, I was kind of right behind Lando, so I didn't want that to be true, but it is, isn't it? It's like
it smacked of desperation, especially looking back at it, as you say.
Yeah,
he was already I seem to recall definitely last year in the race, but this track, Lando can't seem to keep it within the white lines as well. He gets loads of track limit warnings.
Yeah.
And I remember he did it in quali last year as well. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he got the fastest time and it got in quali, but it got deleted because he'd. That's
a superb
prediction.
wild card shout.
We should have one a year that you can say what you want and you get 10 points if it happens. It's just like a completely ridiculous.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'd like a bit of spice, but equally, if them two get together and are close behind, and I'm sure it'll happen sometime this season. Max and Lando will be so involved with one another, trying to take each other out, that Oscar will just come scuttling down the side and overtake them both while they're knocking each other off the road. Yeah. And he could easily win the title this year just on that basis.
I mean, I think Oscar he's just, his improvement from last year is just insane.
It's epic. Yeah.
But what I was thinking though is this race has been pretty epic the last couple of years, but more recently it's become a bit of a procession on all of the races. It's kind of gone where you've got you're getting like a 4 or 5 second gap between all the cars, the front runners at least. And it's kind of been at least the first half of the race has been a bit stale. And I just really hope that doesn't happen again.
Waiting for a safety car.
Yeah, I mean, there has been the last couple of years, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Or at least a virtual safety car.
What's the chance of weather? Because I know it can get biblical when it rains. Yeah, that way.
I'm not sure, actually.
No. I'd like to see some weather. I'm not hoping for it, but that'd be decent. But it's I know what you're saying, that it's almost like Mario Kart. You're wanting people to spit out bombs and and oil slicks and everything just to spice up the race, because you could just see them locking themselves in at 5 seconds apart and then trying to do something in the final stint.
Do you also think that it's going to be Lando and Max having the battle and not George and Max, which it has been over the last little while?
I'd love to see it. George always scores particularly well, but I'm always surprised at the end of the race that he does so well, because he just, a bit like Lewis recently, he seems to have been having one-man races, but comfortably in a decent position, not going forward, not going backwards, but he's 10 seconds off the pace of the nearest rival. But I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. Got a lot of time for him.
I think there's a definite kind of front three and second 3 or 4 emerging, isn't there, with Max and the McLarens up at the front, and then a mixture of the Ferraris and George Russell mostly. Antonelli's not really there yet, is he? But it's kind of those two. But then every now and again they'll switch positions. So depending on what the car's doing, Max will jump back to like 4th or 5th, and Charles will jump into 3rd, and it's just so unpredictable, isn't it? But I do think there's a sort of 2-tier thing happening.
I agree. And the pack is starting to separate between itself now, isn't it? Of who's doing what. You've got leaders within the teams now. The closest ones by far are McLaren, but a couple of decent results ahead of Lando, and Oscar's becomes the team lead, doesn't he? He gets the choice of the pit stops, he gets the choice of the strategies and the choice of the wings and everything else, because they just have to protect themselves from anyone coming up behind, and they've got to win that championship, and I think they'd pick the leader over trying to keep people happy. Yeah,
I mean, I think McLaren have got the constructors pretty much wrapped up, haven't they? But I really hope that they do go for the drivers as well, because that's what everyone really cares about, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think you're right. Like they've got to pick a driver as if one of them's starting to pull a little bit clear, and I think they took too long with that last year. Yeah. They should have gone with Lando way earlier.
Yeah. Well, they weren't used to being in a competitive environment.
No, that's true.
They were happy to be in the points last year, considering where they'd been for the half decade before that. And they were too busy playing happy families, when actually the ruthlessness of a well, you certainly see it in Red Bull, although there's not much competition, hasn't been for many years in Red Bull in those seats. But the other teams will back somebody and stick with it. I mean, I think they actually, Ferrari probably backed the wrong one last year. I thought Carlos Sainz was arguably the better in the Ferrari last year.
I totally agree. But I don't think they ever would have given him the drive over Charles, to be honest. No. But I really hope that Ferrari come back in this race. I hope this upgrade does something, because they're talking. So
exciting if it
I think
they've
rushed.
It'd be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, they've rushed it though, haven't they? I don't think it's like quite there, and I think there's maybe a couple of other things coming at Silverstone. I mean, I'll tell you now, my prediction for Silverstone is going to be Lewis Hamilton. I don't really
love it.
I mean, I don't really care what happens between now and then, because that guy around there is like a match made in heaven, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's won it so many times. He's won it so many times.
He had no right to even be on the podium last year. But what
I think
performance!
I think my point is that this week could decide whether my prediction for Silverstone is idiotic or not. Like it's because if Ferrari are like pushing for second and third this week,
brother, you've got points to spare. You can be throwing some crazy shit around.
Yeah, that is true.
You can play with your heart rather than your head.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, like, you've tried your heart, you've tried your head, and none of it seems to work. So, I mean, I'm getting less and less certain. Just
close my eyes and stab. That's what I'm doing now. It's been as good as any tactic I've had so far. That's my little stratagem.
It's an exciting track, though, isn't it? As well, like sort of 2 or 3 pretty good straights.
You come out that first corner, you've got a beautiful drive up, a bit wavy. Then it lands on that very, very, very heavy hairpin.
Yeah.
When everyone's always in trouble when they're coming out on the other side, and it's great. It's just lots of height and undulations. Nice. There's always some action. Yeah,
and three decent, really overtakeable DRS sections.
Yeah.
Which is cool as well.
I think it's 0.7 second advantage. The DRS and it's powerful. Yeah. So and sometimes I like it when it's a hard thing for them to gauge the DRS, because you're doing it so easy that it's embarrassing and you can just get by. But there's nothing worse than a DRS zone that doesn't work. I mean, the one at.
I mean, I think this track had it spot on at this time last year, didn't it? With there were Max and Lando were getting into the corners with a battle on their hands, weren't they?
Yeah,
it was phenomenal. If we see another race like that, I'll be well chuffed.
Yeah, this is one that's bagged it. I mean, I think like the one at Monaco is pointless. It's absolutely pointless, because just as that aero's starting to take effect, you're on the anchors again. You're slowing yourself down.
I have sort of agreed to go camping this weekend, though.
Are you camping?
So I'm gonna have to try
camping.
I'm gonna have to try and get a signal on Saturday to watch quali. But I was thinking at least it isn't a sprint race, because connection could be patchy. But
well, I'm away this weekend. I'm heading off tomorrow evening to Northumberland near Kielder, to a very remote rural cottage.
Do they have the internet up there?
They have the internet. Or the cottage has the internet. But I know for a fact I don't get any phone signals. But I'm hooked up for the weekend. I'm watching sport.
Nice. I like it. I like it. You got anything else? What have we done?
No, man. Excited.
Yeah, I think it should be a good one, shouldn't it? So, are we going to record straight after the race? It's a 2 o'clock start, isn't it? So just... Yeah, that'd be good.
4-ish, yeah. We'll record. We'll have completely uninformed and immediate snap judgments based on absolutely no credible background, other than we've just watched something with our eyes less than 15 minutes ago.
I'm also going to... This video will probably go out Wednesday around lunchtime. If I go and see the F1 movie tomorrow, I'll do a quick review. So we might get 2 videos. We might get 2 videos out tomorrow. And I've never reviewed a movie before, but I've reviewed cameras and things before, and everybody
How
hates.
Can it be?
Everybody hates my reviews. So,
just say it was like Top Gun.
Top Gun for cars. It's the new Days of Thunder.
But you'll have to be careful not to do spoilers as well. So
yeah, no, I'm not going to do
bald guy, the little bald guy in the wheelchair that's the team principal. He's called Trank Brilliams.
I was trying to think of something similar then, but I kept having wank in my head. Wank Hilliams.
Hank. Like it.
Right.
Like it. Enjoy the movie, man. Let me know. I
will do.
Let the people know.
I will do. Cheers. See everybody later. Thanks very much.
Cheers. Bye.